This is not going to work. Y'all, how y'all doing, man? Just bear with me. I'm having some technical difficulties. Very bad technical difficulties. Hold on a second, y'all.
No worries, no worries.
Technical difficulties. Without a shadow of a doubt, is the most frustrated five-star general in the country. Technology is the devil. T-Mobile, AT&T, you conglomerates, you take our money and you can't seem to get it right. I think I'm gonna just get me some cans and do like the Flintstones from here on out. Without a shadow of a doubt, AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile, I am inside the war zone. I got my co-host Donovan Sadiq, Demetri K, and I am the five-star general. And tonight we're gonna talk law enforcement. I got my good friend Eric Fagan running for sheriff in Fort Bend County. And we got former officer Kathy Swilley from the Houston Police Department. Y'all better get a seatbelt because it's gonna be on. Say, man, I want to say top of the evening to you. Top of the evening to you. Let me tell you, I got the biggest problem in the world trying to deal with technology. And some days technology makes my stomach bubble. And that's one of them days today, and I don't have my toilet paper with me. So I'm going to have to accommodate myself the best way that I can. Tonight, we got two different fractions of law enforcement. You have Mr. Eric Fagan, who's running for sheriff in Fort Bend County, Texas. And we have Officer Kathy Swilley, formerly of the Houston Police Department. And her story is going to amaze you. So, y'all, I'm going to turn this over to one of my co-hosts who's not as frustrated as me. And she going to smile and make y'all feel real good. What's up, D?
Hello, you guys. How's everybody doing? I hope everyone is doing well. And sorry about belaboring the war zone, but you guys know how it goes. And especially this week, I think most of us was affected by the outages that were caused, I guess, by something that happened in the phone systems, whether it was Verizon, T-Mobile, you name it. Every last one of them had some sort of a problem. So unfortunately, some of those things are still going on, but we are going to do the very best we can to deliver the spirit of excellence here tonight on the War Zone. So as Gary told you, we are talking law enforcement with Kathy Swilley, if she comes on here, and then Eric Fagan. We're going to get into their stories and take some of your questions and see what it is you want to know. And so, Gary.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, what are you saying, Gary? I can't hear you.
No, Kathy. No, Kathy. Just mute your phone, sweetheart. Go, Demetri.
Are you still working with Kathy?
Nah, we're going to do Kathy over the phone. We can't get past the modem.
All right. Well, while we're trying to figure that out, and Eric, how you doing? Are you still? Because like Eric is frozen a little bit as well.
I can't even. It looks like Eric may have froze up by now.
Yeah. So anyway, while we're figuring it out, and you guys, we do apologize. Gary, there's nothing we could do about it, right? We won't let it bother us. But let me ask you, what's going on in Oklahoma? What's the tea?
Well, the tea is gonna be a sight to see. That's what I can tell you. Right now, about over not three quarters, but about 300,000 people, Trump supporters, are going to converge on Tulsa for Friday and Saturday. But from what I can what I can understand, it's a contingent of people coming from Oklahoma City, and I don't think that's like oil and water in Tulsa on the 20th. It might get a little ugly. It may get a little ugly.
So when you say 300,000 Trump supporters, you know what, Gary? You know what? It's gonna be all right. Yes, indeed. It's gonna be all right. This is what you call life. In real time. This is real. This is live and in action. Live TV here.
It's about 300,000 Trump supporters that's supposed to converge on Tulsa in an arena that only holds 19,000.
So what the rest of them gonna do? The rest of the 280,000 people gonna do?
Well, the only thing I can tell anybody from either side is the only thing I can tell the ones that don't get in the arena, don't start no shit, won't be none. Cause I'm telling you, the focus, they there, they coming, and they ain't feeling this being in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They ain't feeling it.
That's gonna definitely be interesting. And again, that rally has moved to Saturday the 20th, opposed to Juneteenth, because somebody told Trump that was insensitive.
Y'all take care of that for a second, man.
And Gary, you might just have to. Well, Donovan, what's new?
Well, what's new is for those that have been paying attention, a lot of you guys have. And today in Atlanta, the main cop was charged under the DA, and murder charges were put down. So people have to pay attention to that, because there's no guarantee that that person is going to be convicted. We got to go by the facts. They're saying that the DA in that case is running against one of his deputies. So he's actually doing a lot of this so he can be reelected. And, he's kind of going out of his way to do what he needs to do. But, it's a start. And one of the officers is actually crossing the blue line and cooperating with the district attorney there, which is a first. Well, not really a first, but it's very rare that they start crossing that blue line. So, it's a start.
Got it. And our guests are still a little on the frozen side. Eric, can you hear us? I do apologize, but you know what we're gonna do, you guys? We're gonna allow Gary to figure out the technical difficulty stuff with Eric and Kathy, because they're both kind of on the frozen side. So Donovan and I are going to take over for just a minute until everybody can get their technical difficulties going. So anyway, in the news, Gary, you back? Okay, so
real quick, before we get that, I know it's kind of difficult with technology and stuff, but again, you got to make sure you have a good internet access, and most likely a laptop or desktop, and you'll get a better connection. It's kind of hard to do, but it happens. So, but in the news.
Yeah, so in the news, while Gary is figuring out the situation, early this morning, I woke up to the news that Aunt Jemima is getting a makeover. She's getting a makeover. Quaker, the company, I guess they own the Aunt Jemima brand. If you don't know who Aunt Jemima is, she is the lady that has donned the pancake and the syrup products of Quaker. They say for about 131 years. And due to all the racial tension that has been going on, that was sparked by George Floyd, the murder of George Floyd, I should say, they decided to go ahead and give Aunt Jemima a makeover. Sounds like they're going to change her name and give her a complete makeover. As you guys know, for a while, she was wearing the red bandana. And Aunt Jemima actually is a very racist character, if you will. If you've seen the earlier depictions of Aunt Jemima, she was, yes, a boss of what's us gonna do, and all of that kind of stuff. And so today she's gonna be different. I don't know.
Right, but didn't she get a makeover like I think about 30 years ago when we came out of high school? Because remember, she was a lot fatter in the face and she looked like the Aunt Jemima. So now they kind of made her look like Oprah a little bit when they upgraded her. So
yeah, she did get a makeover, but she still had the name Aunt Jemima, which, I don't care what they do to her. When you hear Aunt Jemima, you think of something very, how can I say this? Antebellum, if you will, antebellum South, the plantation-ish type of persona of Aunt Jemima. We all know that Aunt Jemima has been a running joke for a lot of racism and a whole host of things. And so, as I said, she's getting a makeover. And guess who else is getting a makeover? Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is going to get a makeover now. Admittedly, I don't know all they're going to do to him. I'm assuming he's going to have maybe a name change or an image makeover. But you guys have seen Uncle Ben on the rice box. He looks like a house servant, if you will, on the plantation. And so after all of these years, he's also going to get a makeover. So let's talk about that a little bit. Again, while Gary is trying to figure some things out. I'm going to just give you guys my opinion before Donovan gets in here. To me, those things are nothing more than symbolism. Let's go ahead and change these and, images, and hopefully the Negroes will be happy that we're giving these people a makeover. But again, it's all symbolism. You notice how a lot of those companies, they're writing checks here and there, like Netflix today gave one of their biggest donations of $120 million to fund Black education. So they gave like $40 million to Spelman, $40 million to Morehouse, and then the rest, or most of the rest, to the United Negro Fund. And so,
but how many people could go to Spelman and Morehouse? They can only have so many students. They keep pumping these monies into these HBCUs, and a majority of us don't go to HBCUs.
Right. And so Netflix has also given some money to the United Negro Fund, where their motto is a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And so they are big on Black education, if you will, Negro education. I don't know, however you want to say it. And so there are a few companies, and I think Quaker is giving $5 million to something. I can't remember what it is, but my thing is, we don't need rice and pancakes. We need reparations. It would be really nice if some of these companies would decide to write us or go to Capitol Hill, if you will, and champion reparations for Black people. It's nice that you want to change Aunt Jemima and all of them, but we need some real significance, not symbolism.
Right. Them throwing these monies to certain organizations there's no way I have access to that. So how does that help me? I might not go to college. How does that help me? Like you said, if they go to Congress and make sure that we all get it, that would be more beneficial. But, we need to get it. But just to throw it over here and throw it over here like we haven't been asking for it. If you can do that, get us the reparations for all Black people, ADOS, all of us.
Right. And so again, what it is symbolism, and it is partially due to white guilt, if you will. It's white guilt. People are now opening their eyes. Not that they haven't seen it, but they're really opening their eyes. Now, when I say people, I'm obviously talking about people who are not Black. They're starting to really get a good eyeful of what Black people have been going through and are still going through. I had a white man tell me yesterday that he feels guilty for being white. And I asked him why. He says, because, he says, I can walk down the street and not have people look at me, because of the color of my skin. And he says, I'm pretty sure that's, something you go through a lot. I said, yeah, when you're Black in America, some things you just kind of get used to, and some things, you're going about your day. So you're not really walking around saying, oh my gosh, they're looking at me because I'm Black. But he says, I really just feel guilty and terrible about being white because I've never had to have those things happen to me. He says, in fact, he grew up with Black friends and Mexican friends and all of that. But he says, it wasn't until he moved to Orange County when he really felt and understood how racist his people are. And so he, was apologizing to me and all of that. And I was like, what? It doesn't mean anything here or there to me. But he was also saying that he hopes the people in the streets that are protesting, he says, I hope they don't stop. Because he's in his 70s. He's like, I don't ever want to go back to normal. He says, I hope they keep pushing until this whole institution of America is completely changed. And so, Donovan?
Well, since we're talking about in the news today, I was given a photograph on a military base of an aircraft, the C-130 aircraft that was flying the Blue Lives Matter, First Responders Matter flag. Now, for those of you guys that know your history, any representation of the United States flag outside of the red, white, and blue is very disrespectful. So when the cops have adopted this and put it on their uniform, very, very disrespectful, because that ain't how it's supposed to be worn. But anyway, they were flying this flag. Okay. The explanation I got for it was, they're just supporting with the COVID, the first line responders, right? Great. I didn't see too many police out there during the initial COVID, everybody locked up out there really doing anything. But okay, if that's what you want to say, fine. Now, with the climate that has changed, is it really smart to run a flag of an organization right now that is brutalizing peaceful protesters, have murdered Black people, and you're on a military base with Black, brown, and all these other minorities? Is that the correct flag to do at this time? So whoever decided that this is a great idea or didn't think about taking it down, it's like, where's your insensitivity? Where's your sensitivity to the situation of your airmen or your soldiers that are on your base? So I went to the IG and I said, I want an investigation, because they were telling me, oh, we took the flag down. Where's the investigation? I want names. I want numbers, because we're going to show these race soldiers what's really up, because obviously they didn't give a damn about how I felt. So I want to know, I want to get some. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let them know those days are now over. So that's what happened to me today in history.
I want to jump into this about the white folk being guilty. What you guilty for? You just figured this out. You just found out that racism is alive and well in 2020. You really want, I can't speak for nobody but me, but you really want me to believe that. You really want me to believe that in your heart you feel some type of way because I get pulled over and I get treated like a dog. But this has been going on for 52 years of my life. And now you just woke up and you figured it out. You are a pathological liar. You don't feel bad about what happens to us. Because if you did, every white person in America that got out and they feel so bad, the same way you got your ass out your house to vote for Trump, you'd be in these damn streets right now for us. You don't care. Stop acting like you do. I am sick of it. You are very intelligent people. You live in a damn bubble. You don't believe nothing. So don't patronize me with that. And those that do what they doing with your flag, Donovan, they don't give a damn about us either. They find a way to spin it every single time. white people, you are not the victim this time. I'm sorry, but this is not new. This has been going on over 400 years, and that's some hell of a Alzheimer's disease to have. You know exactly what's been going on. What we gonna do, if y'all don't mind, I guess I'm gonna see. Eric, can you hear us? Hold on. Eric, can you hear us? Eric Fagan?
Yeah.
How you doing, brother? We just gonna abandon the yard stream tonight, and we're gonna have to interview you over the phone. Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
Dimitri, you can have at it, sweetheart.
I mean, I agree, you know, with the whole premise of white guilt. I think when white people say things about, oh, I have white guilt, I tend to agree with you in that, and they're trying to spin it into the victim, like, oh, you know, like, what am I supposed to say if somebody says, well, I have white guilt? Oh, don't have white guilt. You've done nothing wrong. I mean, like, what am I really supposed to say, you know? But yeah, I mean, just, you know, I just feel like they should do their part, because again, it's not up to Black people to get rid of racism. It's up to the people who created racism to get rid of it. There's nothing we really can do. Only thing that we could do to help ourselves in this racist society is to get knowledge of self. Find out who we are. Get together with one another and practice group economics. Like, that's how we help ourselves in the conditions that we are currently living. But it's not up to us to get rid of this thing called racism. And speaking of which, on June 19th, you guys know that's Juneteenth, where all Black people in America were free, quote unquote. I always do that because we know we're not really.
The problem with Juneteenth is you're talking to some Negroes right now that don't even know what it means.
Well, I'm going to tell you what it means just briefly.
I'm sorry, they don't know what it means.
Juneteenth is the day that we all were free in 1865. Actually, it was Galveston, Texas, that got the news, 2 years later, that slavery had ended, like, for real. For whatever reason, the slave owners in Texas was like, yeah, we're going to not tell them as long as possible. So that's when technically all Black people were freed from slavery. And so that is the day that we as Black people are supposed to celebrate, is June 19th, which is going to be this Friday. I've seen a lot of people talk about we should already be shopping Black and, you know, and spending Black. But that is the day that a lot of people I've seen to say, hey, let's really start on that date. Now, also, there's this other date of July 7th that TI came up with, that all Black people are supposed to withhold their Black dollars from, you know, the economy. Well, as we talked about it a lot on this show, on July 7th, most people don't have money, especially us, because we have spent every dime damn near that we have to celebrate 4th of July, which is a date that is not prevalent to Black people at all. We know that we were still enslaved in 1776, has nothing to do with us. So there's a day called Juneteenth. That's the day we really should be celebrating. And I'm not just saying getting together with the family and eating and all of that. We should also spend that day educating one another about what that day actually is and what we need to do to move the ball forward for Black people, right? And, you know, to Gary's point, if there's some people who don't know about Juneteenth, well, you know, Google is free on most people's phones. And everywhere you go, you can always Google it and find out what it is. But as a Black person in America, you have no business celebrating 4th of July if you don't even know what Juneteenth is, which is why Gary is in Oklahoma, because Trump originally decided to have his campaign kickoff on Juneteenth in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was also the place of Black Wall Street. And so Trump decided to move it to the next day, which is still Juneteenth weekend, right? Most people are still going to be celebrating. So that's why Gary is there. He is going to present the opposition and go, see what's going on and say, hey, not on our watch. You have, some people in America, white people are saying, oh, we have this white guilt. But then you have the MAGA crowd, if you will, to the tune of, for what Gary says, 300,000 of them are supposed to convert on Black Wall Street, where it used to be, to tout the issues or whatever of Trump. And so it all sounds good to me, but we see what you do, if you will. But we as Black people really need to understand about Juneteenth and spend more time doing that, and more importantly, hold our Black dollars on that day. And until, because listen, I'm going to end with this. We as Black people have white supremacy on the ropes. Every day, we're seeing different entities and companies doing a 360. Now, I know Aunt Jemima's symbolism, but damn. Aunt Jemima been rocking on the block like that for 130 some years. Now all of a sudden they want to give her a makeover. So we have white supremacy on the ropes. And if we go back to where we were, we'll never ever have this opportunity again. Never ever in our lifetime will we see what we're seeing now.
Okay, hey, since we're sitting down here, we are with Sheriff candidate Eric Fagan. Am I correct?
Yes, Eric Fagan, that's correct.
Yes. Hey, sorry to keep you waiting, a little technical difficulties, but welcome to the show. My first question is, tell us a little bit about your background and why you are running for sheriff.
Well, I have 34 years of law enforcement experience, a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, degree in juvenile forensic psychology, where I actually did psychological evaluations on inmates before they went to court under a licensed psychiatrist. I've won one of the highest awards given in law enforcement, Officer of the Year. To win that once in an officer's career is rare. I've won it 3 times. Once for capturing a capital murder suspect, once for gathering donations of food and clothing for apartment building fires for families, and for what I'm most proud of, saving the life of a 6-month-old baby girl. I got into this race because Fort Bend law enforcement needs to come into the 21st century. We had a sheriff who was in the office of Fort Bend County who stated that human trafficking didn't exist in Fort Bend County, that gangs didn't exist in Fort Bend County. To say something like that during this time is ludicrous. What that says is that people who are human trafficking, that Fort Bend is open to all. The gang members is open to all. Well, I want to change that.
Okay, a quick follow-up to that question. When you do become sheriff, what reforms are you going to bring in the current climate of law enforcement, and just basically the changes that you want to bring?
Well, when I decided to run back in 2018, my platform, one of my first things on my platform is training. We have to have proper training. And also, when people say training officers, we also have to look at the people who are doing the training. So if you have a person who's in charge of training who also have racist biases, and they're training the officers who eventually are going to be on the street, well, we have to change that. Fort Bend County is one of the most diverse counties in the nation. But if you look at the command staff of the current sheriff's department, it looks Snow White. The command staff should reflect the community that we serve. Just to say the word diversity without inclusion is just a word. So I want to change that. We have qualified people here in Fort Bend County, minorities, who can be on the command staff. Look, I lived in Fort Bend for over 29 years. He made a statement that he would have a minority on his command staff if he can find a qualified one. Well, that's an insult, not only to me, but to everyone else. I lived here, he's never knocked on my door. Also, I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
Oh, I have a youth initiative that I want to reach out to the youth of this community. This is things in my platform that I put out in 2018 before the murder of George Floyd. So it's not something that I'm just jumping on the bandwagon talking about. It's in my platform. I want to have a youth mission. Look, it's sad to say that the youth today think when they have an encounter with a police officer, it's more safer for them to flee from us than to stand there and try to cooperate. Because as you see, even when they cooperate, the people who look like us are still being killed. So to them, it's more safer to run away. We have to change that. And in law enforcement, we have to own up to it, that it's us that need to change, not them, it's us. So we have to show that. President Barack Obama brought out a 21st century guideline on policing that talked about all these things back 5 years ago. And now all of a sudden it's a new thing. No, it's not. It's not new. It's just that departments didn't want to do it. Well, if I'm blessed to become the sheriff, I will enact all of these plans.
Well, let me ask you a question. I lived in Fort Bend County for 12 years. I was racial profiled several different times. And what would you do differently about those officers that just, it's common knowledge with Troy Nels, he doesn't do anything about it, about the racial profiling of African American and especially my Latino brothers out in Fort Bend County that get the business every day from the sheriff's department?
What I would do is have a policy that says zero tolerance on racist acts. Also, you need someone who's in command of that department that understands racial profiling, that know what it feels like to be pulled over for no other reason than the color of your skin. Look, I'm for over 34 years. I lived in Fort Bend for over 29 years. I've got pulled over before and was asked, the first thing the officer asked me was this my vehicle? Is this my vehicle? Is that a probable cause to pull me over? So I asked, what was the reason you pulled me over? Well, I want to know if this is your car. So I asked, is that your probable cause for pulling me over? When I said that, he knew I had some dealings with some type of law enforcement or in the legal field, and then he said, I crossed the lane not safely. No, that wasn't it. I was just driving a Corvette that he thought a young African American couldn't afford, so he assumed, in my belief, that I stole the car.
So let me ask you, go ahead.
Someone who's not lived in our skin wouldn't understand that. They'll be like, oh, he just stopped you to ask the question. No, that was racial profiling. You need someone who understands that. You need someone who tell the other officers what racial profiling is and how it affects us every single day. So we're no longer going to tolerate it.
I'm pretty sure they know what racial profiling is based on the number of complaints that they've gotten in the sheriff's department in regards to it. You know, I don't think it's even been a month, maybe a little over a month. You guys had an officer involved shooting in Fort Bend County involving this same sheriff's department when African American was killed. Can you give us your thoughts on that? Yeah, they shot a deputy. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, we have that sometimes. We have that sometimes. But you know, I made a comment on the in the comments, and with what's going on in Houston, I am just damn amazed that there hasn't been a mass exodus out of that area with all of the problems they have. I mean, the same thing in LA. I mean, Black people, we should have been gone a long time ago. But like we have Mr. Fagan running, and you've got a lot of Black elected officials, a lot of Black police officers, and yet all of these problems are still going on. And I just don't understand why we haven't risen up years ago, and what's it going to take for us to just be done with this. Demetra?
I mean, it's going to take for us to stop being complacent with our future, our lives. I mean, it's really all the same thing. So I guess you guys were still trying to figure out the technical difficulties here. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's really the same everywhere as far as, you know, the corruption and all of that. But ultimately, it's up to the people. I mean, I really,
but you know, with what's going on right now, we have to continually keep up that pressure, because we've got these people on the ropes. And, you know, I was walking in my neighborhood today, walking my dog, and I'm seeing people walking around with no face masks on. They're just, you know, going back to the way it used to be. And I really feel that we can't afford to go back the way it used to be. Here in California, in 2 months, there is going to be a big foreclosure problem here in Southern California. And nobody seems to have any concern or any sense of, how can I say it, urgency to start changing the game and getting things set up in the way that it's going to benefit us. Right now, it's just like these big corporations are giving out money and all this. We should be setting up the future of where we're going to go from here on out. That's just my opinion.
All right, Mr. Fagan, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. When I get frustrated, I get real. I get very, very real. I lived in Fort Bend. It's one of the most racist counties that I've ever been in my damn life. I'm not holding nothing back on Fort Bend County. You can live out there. You can act like you're living with the Joneses. You know exactly what you're living around. The current sheriff is a joke. His whole department is a joke. Black people don't have a shot in hell of dealing with Fort Bend County Sheriff Department. You know it just like I do. And if I was you, I'd give serious consideration to Eric Fagan for sheriff, because you need a change in Fort Bend County. Your government is not a reflection of what your actual demographics are. Fort Bend County, at the moment, I think is about 12% white. And they're slowly shrinking every year. Their population is slowly shrinking. They don't want to give up anything. They don't want to pass the ball. They don't. It's over with for y'all now. You got more Latinos and more African Americans living out there. But the ones that are living out there, you are being subjected to the type of racism that, whether it's law enforcement or not, that could get the average person killed. And you don't want to tell the truth about where you live at. But it's time for a changing of the guard. So the current sheriff is going to run for Congress, so he go get his little brother to run on the Republican side for sheriff. So we ain't gonna do nothing but change siblings if Eric doesn't win this race. So if you change siblings, nothing changes. What's your viewpoints on the fact that the place that you've called home for 29 years, Mr. Fagan, I just called it one of the most racist counties in America.
Man. So if you don't like what's going on now, why would you select someone of the same ilk?
I don't get it. I mean, but as usual, we gonna sing and dance on election day. I think you got a hell of a shot to change some things out in Fort Bend County. I just feel that was one of the reasons that I put the for sale sign in my yard, because I wasn't finna fake it no more. I'm not finna live around these Klan members because I'm gonna go to jail out here. That's what I thought. I'm not finna fake it. I don't care how nice this neighborhood is. I'm not going to live where I am not wanted. And contrary to popular opinion, if you ain't on the black side of Fort Bend, they don't want your black ass out there.
But you gave the percentage of the minorities are going up. We can change that, and we need to change it. And you're right. Look, we can protest every day. Matter of fact, the white supremacists will give you money to protest. As long as you don't vote, protest is meaningless without the vote. We need to get out and vote.
Well, I tell you what, man, we want to wish you luck, my friend. And you keep campaigning hard. And I'm going to keep singing your song for you, because if you would have been there when I lived there, then maybe I would have stayed. But, having to deal with them people, I couldn't do it no more. I couldn't do it. So good luck, Eric, and keep pushing on the campaign trail.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate all your support.
All right, my brother.
All right. Take care.
All right. Now, I got a quick question. Our other guest, we're going to reschedule that young lady, because I wanted to hear that story of, how she stood up to try to get rid of the crooked cops.
I don't care at this point. But I think if we reschedule, she's going to live in the same house with the same connection. I need to expose these fucking cops.
Yeah.
I need to call the chief a liar right now. I don't need to wait till tomorrow. I need y'all to really understand that the man said if an HPD officer reports something, they're going to protect them. They're going to take care of them. Did he not say that? Kathy Swilley, are you there?
I am, yes.
One, I want you to tell the people how long you were an HPD, Houston police officer.
I was at I served in law enforcement for 22 years. I have a total of 34 years in law enforcement now. I had a great career until I reported discrimination in the Houston Police Department.
Hold on. So you telling me that the police department, that Demetria, Donovan, and Monroe, the chief that was on here the other night, you reported discrimination, and then what the hell happened to you?
They retaliated against me. The Houston Police Department has a pattern and practice of retaliating against female and minority officers when they report discrimination or sexual harassment. You are out of a job. They falsify your records like they did mine. Mine is up for untruthfulness, and I got a dishonorable discharge.
So here's my last question, and I'll pass it. Prior to them saying that you were dishonest, after you reported discrimination, what did you have in your personnel file?
I had, out of the whole time I had been there, the 22 years, I had one written reprimand. That was it.
And then all of a sudden you report.
I gave you documents showing that the untruthfulness that they charged me with in my ID file was found not sustained, but that's what's on my police record that resulted in me getting a dishonorable discharge, and I have not been able to work within the last 12 years.
So if it was found not sustained, who found it not sustained?
Internal Affairs.
So Internal Affairs clears you, but the department still found a way to throw you out of a job.
Yes, sir.
And from what I'm understanding, you got a dishonorable discharge. So here's my question. Can you ever be a law enforcement officer again?
Not in the state of Texas, no, sir. Not. I can keep my license because I still take my classes, but I cannot be hired at a law enforcement agency.
Demetri?
Hello, Ms. Swilley, and thank you so much for all that you're trying to do to join us here today. I know it's been a little bit frustrating for everybody involved, but I simply want to ask you, does Blue Lives Matter include Black officers? Why or why not? I can't hear.
Can do whatever they want to do. They get suspended or they're asked to quietly resign. But the majority of Black officers that I know who reported discrimination or sexual harassment, they all were terminated and they all got dishonorable discharges for untruthfulness and insubordination.
So we didn't.
It does not matter when it comes down to minority officers, mainly Black officers.
Yeah, I would tend, from what I've seen, I would tend to say that is true. And we've been talking a lot about Muhammad Noor, the officer that was sent to jail for almost 13 years for shooting the white lady who he said he thought maybe she had a weapon. We saw that they dealt with him swiftly. Also, the two officers in New Orleans, I think it was, Louisiana, where they mistakenly shot a white little boy in there doing time. But we always hear how Blue Lives Matter this, Blue Lives Matter that. Oh, what about police officers? But when it comes to that of Black police officers, that Blue Lives Matter crowd is they're typically silent. But the other thing I want to ask you was about the blue wall of silence. Some people also call it. Some people also call it the blue wall of violence. What is your take on that?
The code of silence, blue wall of silence, it exists in all police departments. And that's the retaliation. They make examples out of officers who report police misconduct. And that's the blue wall. Now, I did hear the chief says that the majority of complaints come from officers within the Houston Police Department. While that might be true, but it's not true for officers who report discrimination. Actually, I have the statistics. And I do have them out of all the complaints, which was it may have been 800 complaints where officers were reporting other officers' misconduct. But only Internal Affairs only found 11 complaints to sustain. So that meant the rest of the complaints were not founded. That means that an officer who reported it, they just basically said unfounded in investigation. That means that officer was either lying or it just ignored it. So that's a code of silence in itself. Because if I was an officer that was constantly trying to report my fellow officer and my complaints keep coming back as unfounded, I wouldn't say anything else because it's just a matter of time. I'm going to be charged with untruthfulness and lose my job.
So, Swilley, other than the money, I think we'll have some feedback. Other than the money, why would a Black person want to be a police officer if they're going through all of that?
And that's the race gap. I heard Gary saying that why aren't there any Black officers in the Black neighborhoods? A lot of Black officers don't want to be officers anymore because they know retaliation exists. Matter of fact, the word around the police department for me was to the young officers when they're get out of line. You remember Kathy Swilley? If we got her, we can get the punk. So officers know that it's not worth it. If they see something and they try to report it, they could end up losing their career. They might even end up in jail on false charges.
So we had the police chief here a couple of days ago, and he vehemently said if he were to find any of that type of stuff going on, specifically the things that happened to you, that he would deal with it swiftly, and that officer or those officers would be gone. What is your opinion on him saying that in regards to what happened to you?
Well, again, I can only speak for myself. As for the guy who posted, the sergeant who posted the racial, went on a racial rap on his Facebook. He retired the day before his hearing. And I think he retired because of the climate that we're in. Other than that, those officers, they just get suspended and they're still there.
Actually, he retired 1 hour before his hearing. They allowed him to retire so they can get their full benefits. They won't terminate him.
Right. And that's another thing. The majority of officers, the minority officers who are retaliated against, they don't get an opportunity to resign. They want to fire you so they can give you a dishonorable discharge. Even my internal affairs investigators, he put in writing that the charges against me were trumped up, but nobody listens. Nobody.
Thank you for coming on the show today. I just have a couple of questions. Okay. Knowing that you're joining this organization and, here in California, the police department is not an organization to join that is honorable and respectable anymore. So, you're going to join this organization for whatever your reasons were. You get in there. One of my questions is, what is the difference then between the gang and a mafia and a police department?
One has a badge and one has a gun. Well, a badge, but it's worse than what most people think it is. But I also like to applaud Gary for when he went to Minnesota for exposing the kill law, that warrior training that officers are now taking. And that warrior training teaches officers how to kill, like George Floyd was killed. It teaches them that.
Yeah, a lot of that training came from the military, and
known about that.
Yeah, a lot of that training came from the military, because in the Army and the Marine Corps, you'll look at their uniform if they take their blouse off, and you'll see different color belts. And what that is they're reinforced training these guys to fight against basically the Chinese, because when you're Asian, martial arts is instilled in you from the very beginning. And so if you're ever messing with a Marine and he's in uniform, look at his belt, and that'll tell you what level of training that he has. And they're training these guys to like handle it with their hands, and just to deal with you. Right. But here's my thing, and here's my question: knowing that you're in this organization, you know the system, you know the corruption that's going on. Why did you stay when within the first 2 or 3 years? I mean, I don't understand. Why would you stay in an organization that is integrity has been breached?
Well, most people like me, when you join, you're young and you don't see any of that. You don't see any of the problems, like in my case, until you report a problem. And that's where your problems start. I had a great career. But when you report retaliation, it's discrimination or sexual harassment, your career is over. And that's why a lot of officers are calling me now and they want to report stuff. And I tell them, think twice before you report it, because you will lose your job. And if by any chance you get a chance to keep your job, you got to worry about them backing you up in a shooting or any kind of incident.
Right, but so what if you lose your job? Integrity is integrity. You know, a good example like today, I didn't care who got affected by that BS running the blue line flag on a military installation. I didn't care who got hurt, who got bothered. It didn't matter to me because I'm standing up for what's right. And if you stand up for what's right, hey, yeah, I might lose my job, but in the end, hopefully I'll be vindicated. But that ain't a job I should have if I have to. There's no amount of money in the world to me, and I'm not saying everybody's got their own difference, that I'm going to stay on a job where I gotta shoot black people down, or I gotta like in Vietnam. Why are they sending us over there to fight these Vietnamese people, and they didn't do nothing to us, and we can't fight for ourselves here? So I'm just saying,
you don't have to shoot black people down. Number one, HPD officers. I can only speak for HPD. Taxpayers pay us good. They pay good money for the training that HPD officers have. We are highly trained, highly trained. The problem is management who protect management and unions who protect bad cops. And there's no support for the good officers. Regardless of what the chief says, there's really no support from the police department or elected officials. When you lose your job and you go before city council and you tell them, you show them the evidence like I had, they just sit there and look at you. They don't even have any questions.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you the $1 million question. I know that you were railroaded out your job. I've seen the documentation, y'all. I've seen all the proof. Everything lines up. Does the mayor of Houston know that them people did that to you, the one that's sitting in there right now?
Yes, he does.
And he's not done what was right? I mean, has he seen the evidence?
He has not.
But he won't even hold a discussion.
No, as a matter of fact, the last time I spoke to Mayor Turner, one of the officers in the Gerald Goins case, Marsha Todd, was one of the officers who falsified all of my documents.
Marsha Todd again.
If they had listened to me when I first went to them about Marsha Todd and all the evidence that I had, maybe the Tuttle would still be alive. But instead, she ended up getting promoted to lieutenant. She was sergeant at the time. She had a history of falsifying documents.
Wow.
And manipulating investigations.
So let me ask you this question. On a scale from 1 to 10, in 2020, 10 being the worst, how corrupt is the Houston Police Department right now?
Very, to the core. And let me explain why. Because they cover up wrongdoing. And they have a way of silencing officers who speak out. And also, in my case, I had over 10 attorneys. And when you saw the evidence, how is it that I could never even make it to the court with 10 attorneys? And I'm not the only officer this happened to.
So look, were you a member of the union? Police union?
Yeah, both unions.
So you telling me look, Joe Grimaldi, them ain't help you out?
Letters. Hello?
What did the union do for you?
Okay. My first union attorney, he abandoned me 72 hours before my hearing. And he abandoned me because he said that I needed to drop my EEOC complaint. I had 72 hours to find another attorney, outside attorney. And what the union usually does is if you go over there for assistance, they come back and they say, oh, we're going to give you an outside attorney because your supervisor also needs an attorney. So it's a conflict of interest. So then they give you maybe $5,000 to go out and hire an outside attorney who has no experience in state law or city ordinance, okay? Which they didn't give me the $5,000, no, they gave other officers. So they outsourced the minority officers, a lot of the minority officers' cases, if it's not a shooting. Now, I will say this, when Ray Hunt was there, and both Eric Fagan, when he was president of the Black Officers Association, and Eric Carr, they all wrote letters saying that I should have gotten an honorable discharge instead of a dishonorable discharge. So I tell you what, if you don't believe racism exists in the Houston Police Department, why are there 3 unions? There's a Black Officers Union, there's a HPOU, and then there's a Hispanic. Most of the minority officers have to belong to both those unions, the HPOU, because if you're involved in a shooting, they have good attorneys. So if it's something else, department policy, you're going to have to go through, it's best to go through the Black Officers Association or the Hispanic.
So let me ask you a question. This is still about law enforcement. How bad, based on your expertise of 34 years of being an officer, can I say what I want to say, Ms. Demetri? I don't want you to get mad at me. How fucked up you think that Tuttle case is, Kathy?
Oh, it is. It's messed up. No doubt about it. It's messed up. And I did hear the chief said that he gave everything to Kim Oz when he was on your show, but just Monday night, it showed where Representative Ron had wrote a second letter asking the Houston Police Department to release the audit from the narcotic division.
Now, do you two remember when the chief said that they had turned everything over to the DA? After that, no, hold on, Kathy. After that, State Representative Gene Wu, along with a bunch of other state representatives, penned a letter. 8 state representatives penned a letter after Aceveto's interview with us, saying that you will not turn over what needs to be turned over. So I was correct when I said they've not given the DA what she needs.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Demetri.
They just sent another one Monday.
And they just sent another letter Monday, Demetri. He lying.
Well, I mean, it sounds like a whole lot of nonsense. Yeah, it might have Rampart beat. I'll just say this is very discouraging. It's not surprising, but discouraging to know that we had the chief of police on our show, and he's good at what he does. Now, when I say he's good at what he does, he's good at, sounding like he's doing the right thing. And I don't know if you happen under his watch, but to me, it's all the same. And they won't even entertain looking into your case when you have been cleared of any wrongdoing. And they want people to have faith in whatever it is they're doing. But let me ask you this. Many people say that there is no such thing as a good police officer. Now, I kind of hesitated asking you that until you made one statement when Donovan was asking you about, basically, I forget how it went, but turning people in. And you said that you actually discouraged officers from doing that, or from speaking up rather, because it would cost them everything. And so I decided to ask you, do you agree with there are no good cops? I mean, you have cops who see wrongdoing by other officers and, higher ups, and they won't say anything for a paycheck. Now, I get it. If I don't work, I don't eat either, but it'd be hard for me to digest my food knowing that paycheck came from a place that's very corrupt. And so I want to ask you, Ms. Swilley, do you believe that there are no good cops?
There's a lot of good officers. Please don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good officers that go to work every day and just want to do their job. They call in a damn if you do, damn if you don't position. Now, a lot of officers are leaving the force. A lot of good officers are leaving the force for that reason, because they just can't. They can't deal with it. They don't want to lose their job. They can't see bad officers. They can't report them. So a lot of officers are leaving, and it's going to continue to be that way until the community starts speaking up for good officers. You know, one of the biggest problems that nobody wants to talk about is white supremacy in law enforcement. That's the problem. Everybody keeps talking about train, train, train. All the training in the world is not going to solve the problem with these racist officers joining law enforcement. Nothing's going to change it. They're joining law enforcement for all the wrong reasons. But again, there are really good officers. We have a high number of officers committing suicide because they have seen something. And it eats at them because they can't report it. But they know if they report it, their lives are in danger. I can't tell you some of the things that they have done to me. But I'm
Okay.
that I was a decent human being and I cared about people before I became a police officer. And I'm like, London, I don't do what's right at all costs. Period. That's just the way it is.
Right.
But there are a lot of officers who are stressed out.
Right. Now, okay.
Some are committing suicide.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to disagree with you. I don't agree with you that there are any good officers because nobody is giving up the goods or crossing the blue line. That's my opinion. I'm not saying we're just difference of opinion. But you know, when people say, oh, it can't be done, the system this, the system that, Demetra will tell you, I broke the biggest FBI bribe in United States FBI history right here in my town. I helped do that because I didn't give a damn. And I was dropping documents and, you know, incognito things to certain groups and certain attorneys and IRS officials. Nobody knew it was me. They had a good idea it was me, but they didn't know. So what I'm saying is you can't sit there and tell me in a police organization, you can anonymously go outside of that organization and drop documents. I mean, I've done it. I'm known in the military. When I was in the military, don't fuck with him. I didn't fight the system. I went around the system because we have a good old boy system in the aviation world, in the military, but everybody knew. I stood up for what was right. I did my time. Of course, as we know, your life could be in danger, so I might have to leave the state or do what I got to do. But the point is, I just can't buy into the fact that with all of the resources and money that is given to the police department, that nobody could unanimously give information to the press and just put it out there to highlight the situation. And that's what I did here in this city, which is why I haven't been killed to this day.
Well, she just finished talking
Well,
about
what I have done, can I say this quick?
Go ahead, Kat.
What I've done, I've created a police whistleblower committee that accepts anonymous complaints from fellow officers who report in their fellow officers. I also have an initiative called Cops Holding Cops Accountable. And that is to expose and bring awareness to what good cops go through when they report police misconduct. And talk about and bring public awareness to the code of silence, the culture that protects these bad cops. But again, we need support from the community. We have to have support from the community. I just ordered bumper stickers, labels that says we support good cops, not bad cops. So for everybody who says, oh, I'll back law enforcement, I support the police, well, you need to be able to say, I support good cops, not bad cops. So I make sure y'all get a bumper sticker, and I'm asking for y'all support for the police whistleblower committee and support Cops Holding Cops Accountable.
the chief just sat on the show and he told us that they are transparent, that they do everything in their power to make sure that it's what it is. This is the letter that dated, you see the date? June 15th. And if you could read this, what State Representative Gene Wu is telling him, it's been 90 days and you still haven't answered to an audit that we requested. They want to audit the narcotics division. That's the division Goins was in. And they will not respond. And they're not going to respond. I'll say this about good officers. At this moment, it's like I'm trying to have sex. I got to strap up with everybody. I don't know who the good cops is. I'm not taking a chance to try to figure it out. And the thing is, we can't get no justice. So you ain't gonna get no peace. You ain't gonna get no peace. But we have to stop sitting around and what she just said, it takes the community. It ain't gonna be 3 or 4 of us that pull this off. Now, if the chief was just on this show, and now we've caught him in a lie, everybody and their mama that's watching should be calling up there and ask them to release everything because they're lying. But it's the same man that you're doing the Cupid shuffle with, huh? Better watch them police. And to bless y'all, I know it's been frustrating. When I get off here, I'm going straight to the microphone. I'm finna bless them for real. Yeah, I say it in the song I wrote. Maybe we ought to start killing your kids.
So, Ms. Swilley, what is your opinion on the protests that are now going on all over the country in regards to protesting police brutality and basically the wholesale murder of Black people? What are your thoughts on that?
It's long overdue. And I would be out there protesting with them if I wasn't a full-time caregiver for my brother who's a heart patient. Long overdue. We need more officers out there protesting. Some of the ones that's out there, they're doing it for all the wrong reasons, though. But we need a group of officers that will, and actually I've even tried to hold a press conference with a group of officers. The media don't want to hear the truth. Not in this city. They don't want to hear the truth. They want officers that's going to sugarcoat it. They want officers that's not going to talk about systemic racism.
Do you think the chief is full of shit? Do you think the chief of police in Houston is full of shit?
Are you breaking up, Gary?
Do you think the chief of police, Art Acevedo, city of Houston, is full of shit?
I think he wasn't honest with you when he was on the show. According to what was on the news, that representatives are saying he didn't turn the audit over. So I don't think he was honest with you.
And to our knowledge, this is the same audit that the DA needs.
Hey, you're breaking up.
I say to our knowledge, this is the same audit that the DA needs to start the prosecution of Gerald Goins.
Yes. Yes. Actually, the person who did that audit, it is my understanding, because it was not in HPD's favor, he no longer works for the department.
Wow.
That's the rumors around the department.
You got it, Demetri. I'm just at a loss for words. I done heard it so many times, but every day we get something new on it. If y'all see this lady file with what they did to her, even you, Demetri, go put on your Nikes to kick somebody's ass.
Well, this is what I would like to suggest, Gary. I don't know it's something you can set up when you get back from Oklahoma, because she's saying that, she's trying to have a press conference with the press. But, we know that white-owned media, they're not interested in our stories. They're only interested in making us look bad and continuing the stereotypes. So, Gary, I'm just asking you, when you get back to Houston, put on a war zone and, all these officers who want to speak. Hell, we Black media, we got views. We get people to look, and we can put the story out there.
I do you one better. When I get back, I'm going to go park across the street from the Houston Police Department downtown. I'm going to fire up the war zone, and I'm walking in the goddamn building. I need to talk to the head man in charge. I got a problem. I do it like that.
And we have to.
Okay.
I will go
come on with me. I'll walk through hell and back for you, because you are the epitome of a good officer. And all you did was try to do the right thing. And after 34 years, they shit on you. Well, it's time to embarrass they stinking asses.
You know, Gary.
We can hear.
To indict me on a charge that didn't even exist.
So hold on, because
I
clicked the mute thing. And what's going on with the mute? You know, normally I mute after I talk. So that's what the problem is. She said what they tried to do before they hit her with the untruthfulness, they tried to indict her. This is how dirty they were.
Prosecutors, they went looking for several prosecutors to accept charges on me for misappropriated funds that I never received. And after the DA's office said, you don't have facts, you don't have nothing, then they came back and just charged me with untruthfulness. When they charged me for untruthfulness, I wasn't even at work.
Well, Kenitra said they're going to take both of y'all to jail. Lord, just call me LOL. Let me make you aware of something. I don't give a damn about going to jail. I shall never be a revolutionary until I go. So if I got to go for standing up for this good lady, then that's what the hell gonna happen. But the chief is gonna tell me, why did you lie to me on my show? Why did you say you turned over everything to the DA, and then on the 15th of June, State Representative Gene Wu said that you ain't turned over nothing, and they asked for it 90 days ago. So you're lying in public? No, you got to answer for that.
I want to put out a call to action to everybody that's watching. From what I see, we have a little over 70 people watching. It sounds like the chief is going to be on The View tomorrow with Whoopi and them. So how about everybody go on The View's page, I don't know, and at The View and say, we understand you're having a chief come on, but he is not being honest. In fact, he sat on the war zone and said A, B, C, and D. There's a police officer by the name of Kathy Swilley who was unjustly fired, and everybody is refusing to look at her. So the chief is going to come on your show and he's going to lie to you. Everybody at The View, in ABC or whatever, and tell that story. If half of us do that, they may see it by the time he comes on, and they may ask him that.
Or they may say, or he might not show up.
If you need some background on Kathy's story, go to the Forward Time newspaper. Yeah. Jeffrey Boney wrote a big expose on the story, put all of her documents in the paper, all her proof in the paper, and even Boney, an award-winning journalist, said none of this adds up. It does not add up. They can't prove anything on this lady. If it's not that they can't prove it, it never happened. What happened is the good cop tried to report the bad cop. So why do you think a good cop would walk into personnel and say, man, I got a problem, man. These folk, they doing this here. They done kill little Johnny around the corner. Man, you crazy as hell if you do. When you walk up in there, turn your resignation letter in. Because if you don't, they going to get you out of there a different way.
Well, I just want to say to Ms. Swilley, like I said, I know for a fact, in the end, you're going to be vindicated in all this, and you will be financially compensated as a taxpayer. We need to do the right thing for the good cops. And so you're absolutely right. We need to start standing up the taxpayer and start protecting the good cops. But it's very, very difficult to do so when you guys won't even tell us who are the good ones or the bad ones. Not all of you guys, but I'm with you 100%. So at the end of the day, at the end of this, I'm with you, and I know you will be vindicated and you will be financially compensated for what they put you through.
Well, Kathy, as soon as I get back, let's get to it. I ain't got no scared bones in my body.
Okay.
If you want to take me to jail,
okay,
then get me there before they stop feeding people. Because I ain't scared to go home.
Well, the bottom line. Well, the bottom line is things need to be, but nothing will change until somebody has a backbone and stand up and expose it. And I've been exposing it for the last 12 years alone. And so until I met you, Gary. But I will say, I appreciate you having me on the show. I know we had some problems, technical difficulties, but still, you know, things happen. Things happen. This time yesterday, I even have phone service, so everybody's phones were out. So things happen for a reason. But when you come back, we certainly will talk about some things, okay?
Done deal. Have a good night, Mama.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye, Donovan, and the other host. Bye-bye. Demetrius.
Now, who want to have a discussion about the Houston Police Department? You want a Harlem Shuffle with them? Want to do the wobble with them? Because they'll set you up too.
You know, I'm not
unbelievable.
I'm not speechless a whole lot, but it's just like, you know, can Black people win something? You know, because everybody now is going to use Black people. You even had the chief, you know, even before he came on our show, he was, you know, he was sounding like Martin Luther, Mexican King, whoever he is, all up on
Guadalupe King.
Huh?
Guadalupe King.
Guadalupe, yeah, all of that. He was going, you know, Guadalupe King and all of that, all up on the news, and he was going to overcome and all that other stuff. But you got this Black woman who was doing the right thing, did not do anything wrong, and he won't even go to bat for her. And you want the Black community to get behind you for why, I ask. And I would say to you, Negroes, I know that's not the technical term, but I wanted to say something else. So I was being nice.
Oh, nigga.
For the love of God, stop. For the love of God, stop dancing with the po-po.
For real.
It's stupid at this point. You got a Black woman who's on here telling you her own colleagues, the po-po, screwed her over. Y'all out there watusiing with the police.
Now, I'm going to tell you what we can do, because I think he may not have technical difficulties, and I'm going to call him to the square right now. Kenneth Perkins is on my feed right now making comments. Y'all want to talk to Mr. Perkins next? HPD. HPD messed up, man.
Sure.
And all this about, well, who was the chief? All of it messed up. It been messed up since they killed Ida Lee Delaney. Go back and do the research. Jose Campos Torres. It's been messed up forever. So the thing is, the chief, the department, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, he fell into something, and I don't really think he knew how bad it was. But now you got to ride the train now. So now you become just as much of the problem as what you inherited. So I'm not feeling it. You can go on The View. You can go on whatever you want to go on. But I tell you what, you just had a real conversation with me on my show the other day. And you lied to me, homie. I don't like when you lie to me. Police chief or not, boy. I'm not white. I don't pretend to feel what white people feel. I'm human. I feel what humans feel. And to know that those two innocent white people got murdered and ain't nobody did a goddamn thing about it, it's messing with me. And I'm not gonna rest. I'm not gonna rest until something is done. They will not release that information because the whole upper brass of the Houston Police Department will be out of a damn job.
Well, I see Al says, after listening to her story, now stop saying there are no good cops. I don't believe there are any good cops. I'm just going to keep it real with you.
I'm with you on that.
I mean,
if there are good cops, I don't know how to determine who's good and who's bad.
Yeah, because the good cops allow the bad cops to run roughshod over everybody.
Now, didn't you say white supremacy exists in the police department?
All day long.
Racism exists in the police department?
All day.
Okay, well, this is what I'm gonna tell you, Al. I feel the same way about them that they feel about us. They say all of us look alike anyway. Well, all y'all look alike too, like some crooked cops.
And you know, yeah, are there some that do some good deeds here and there? But there's not enough of them to overturn the culture of police misconduct. It's more of the bad officers. I mean, even the one in Atlanta that just got arrested, charged rather, for mowing down the brother in Atlanta. Was he fired from another police station or whatever and got hired there?
I tell you what, when I go to ATL, I want to buy that DA a cup of coffee or take him to Starbucks. Because, little daddy, you facing the death penalty. You facing the death penalty in Atlanta, bro. See, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. They playing everywhere else. But I know why they did it. Because T.I. and them fools from Bankhead get loose again, they going to burn up your stadium.
You know, whatever happened to that saying, all money isn't good money. Now, that's an old saying that in our neighborhood that goes back years, right? Not all jobs are good jobs. And I'm not, saying don't, go in there, whatever. But if I'm going to go into a profession as a law enforcement, knowing what I know about it, and that they have, how could you sit there and say they're good cops if the good cop will not cross the blue line?
We keep playing this dangerous game as black people. And what it is we keep giving these goddamn people a chance. We keep allowing these racists to teach our children. We keep putting them in positions of power as elected officials because you feel they're going to change. And now you got one of the most closet racist motherfuckers ever ran for president. And you around here thinking that he the real Uncle Ben. And you willing to give Joe a shot. You can't get mad at how these people treat us because you allow them to do it. I'm looking at comments that y'all making. Well, maybe she did this. Maybe she did that. Maybe you ought to shut the hell up. And understand this has been going on before this lady ever showed up. This has been going on before George Floyd ever showed up. And the reason it keeps happening is because you ain't willing to put your big girl drawers on or your big boy boxers on and tell law enforcement and anybody else that's dealing with these racists, fuck you and a fight come with it. That's the only way that I can say it. I'm being honest with you. All this pussyfooting around, wanting to sleep with the enemy, dance with the enemy. That's the reason they keep murdering y'all. I'm sorry.
Nah, it needs to be said. And, and I know a lot of you on there don't like us to talk about your beloved Joe Biden, but Joe Biden is not going to solve the problem of Black people, period. He wants to give, what does that say?
States that represent this.
Yep.
Did Joe Biden come from one of the states that represented this flag?
He's a big time Dixiecrat. Even in 2020, Joe Biden is a big time Dixiecrat. He actually wants to give more money to police officers. He's not for the defunding of police officers at all. That under the Obama administration, they signed a lot of things to actually give police officers more protection, even though under the Obama administration, more Black people were being murdered, under a Black president. And so Joe Biden don't give a damn about Black people at all. The only thing he cares about Black people is helping him get to the White House, and he is scaring the caca out of Black people by using the name of Trump. Trump and Biden are the same exact people. In fact, I know some of y'all gonna get mad, but Biden is worse. Biden has the track record to say, I screw a Black person over in a heartbeat.
But I got to say this about Biden. He is the luckiest candidate that has ever walked for the nomination of president because, of who he's going against. And it's almost like we're hostages And we're like, do we stay with Trump or do we stay with this guy? But here's the difference. Biden said, shoot him in the leg. You didn't have to, he had no problem shooting you, just not a mass center. You know what I mean? So what's the difference? And that's the crazy thing about this whole thing.
Let me ask a question. For those in Houston saying you support Biden, didn't you motherfuckers go to TSU for a debate and was Ryan here sucking Cory Booker's ass? Kamala Harris's asses? Y'all will suck any Democrat ass that bent over and spread his cheeks. That's exactly what y'all did. You lined that TSU H&P arena, and Biden was not your focal point. And now you will get out here and make excuses for a certified racist because you don't like Trump. What state did Joe Biden come from, Donovan?
He represented Delaware for a lot of years, but I think he originated, though, down in one of the Dixie states.
You support whoever you want. But you know what? Hard head make a soft ass, boy.
And I think it was Alfonso, if I'm not mistaken, forgive me. You say basically if you don't vote, somebody is going to, I guess, choose for you. You still vote and they choose for you. So what is the difference? What choice has your vote gotten you? Like, name me one thing.
Let me ask you a dumb question.
As a black person.
Dimitri, you good with numbers, right?
Not really.
Okay, now, but you're going to be good with these numbers. I need all y'all to stop what you're doing, just listen to me. You really think if Biden picks the right person, he going to dog walk Trump? Let me see where I am right now. I'm in the small state of Oklahoma. Can you tell me the last time Biden was on a stage and 300,000 motherfuckers bought a ticket for it? Trump got 300,000 coming.
Yep.
I'm gonna just say, I don't care if people get mad. That motherfucker done woke up every trailer park in the country.
Yep. Yep.
You better go get as many votes as you can get. Because if they will flock to Oklahoma, 300,000 deep, they go into them voting polls.
Right.
I don't think Joe got a shot unless he can pull Michelle Obama out his ass.
Vanessa says, so are you guys saying don't vote? No, we're not saying that. But as we say on this show almost every day we come on here, Bush versus Gore, it is case law. Your vote does not matter on the national level. Hillary versus Trump. Hillary got 3 million more votes. It does not matter on the national level.
Honestly, maybe you two can correct me if I'm wrong. I think we'd have got fucked off for the last 4 years if Hillary was in there.
Absolutely. As Farrakhan called Hillary Clinton, he said she is a wicked woman. We know she had a lot to do with orchestrating the murder of Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, trumped up a bunch of lies. We know that even under the Clinton administration, they went over there and dogged out Haiti, some more black people. We know over here in America, she likened our children to thugs and criminals and said they need to be made to heal. Under her husband's administration, the 3 strikes law came and it struck a lot of our people out for 25 to life, even including stuff as so small as stealing some pizza. You got people in there who were doing 25 to life. So black people would have been worse off under Hillary Clinton than we would have been for Trump.
Tell you that they want Trump out. Get Joe in. Get Joe in. Do what you do. Go vote for who the hell you want to vote for. Right. Gary Monroe ain't voting for him.
Right. And think about this right now. And think about this right now with Trump.
And I ain't gonna support him now.
Right. But think about this right now with Trump. Because he's worried about his poll numbers and he's a total idiot, he's willing to sign whatever we put in front of him.
So let me ask a historical question then, Donovan. if y'all know y'all history, why in the hell were you even Republicans in the first place? To get your ass away from your wicked slave masters. And your slave masters tricked you into coming back and being Democrats. And since the day that you did it, you ain't had a goddamn thing.
Yeah, on my page the other day, I put a meme up that said the biggest impediment to Black people doing for self and doing better is the Democratic Party. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but 60 years of dedicated, loving voting, blind voting, and we haven't got a goddamn thing.
Well, Al Jackson says, who do y'all want to see win? Whoever the hell can beat Mitch McConnell. Because that's the fucking problem in America, partner.
I would also say this. I just want to clarify something for those of y'all saying, are you saying not to vote? We're saying hold your vote until we get what we want. What do we want? We want reparations, justice, freedom, and equality. That's what we want. And Black people as a whole, we are so afraid. We are so afraid to say, you know what? We're going to stay home until whether it's Trump or Biden and the Republicans and the Democrats that are going to actually do something for Black people. Black people are the most loyal group of people that never get anything for that loyalty. You guys have got to stop biting your nails, hiding behind curtains, and and being in fear of progressing. Our ancestors did not want to see us here, the same spot we are that they were in. We have not moved the ball. And you guys keep thinking that voting for, listen, and I tell you guys all the time, I will never vote for Trump, but I'm not voting for Joe Biden either. Joe Biden is a cavalier bastard who won't even say I'm down for reparations for you Black people at all. He says he's against it. Now he's kind of, I'm thinking about it.
He's trying to put the Indians involved with it. We need something specific for us.
Right. He's trying to include the Indians and all of that. Joe Biden ain't promised you nothing. Nothing at all. Not even a cold cheese government sandwich.
Well, they got to learn. So I'm gonna work on a new song tonight, and I want to go viral. You know how the girl went viral the other day with her song? I'm gonna write a new song called "Joe Biden gonna hit you with the dick." Joe Biden gonna hit you with the dick. Joe Biden gonna hit you with the dick. Watch what I tell you. And it's going platinum.
Exactly. And then, somebody says that, they're worried about the chief justices and all the judicial nominations is a reason why we should, vote for the president. Okay. This is why we really got to be educated about politics. The president nominates Supreme Court justices and all that other stuff, right? He's the one that nominates them with the consent of the Senate. So you have 2 senators that come from your state. Make sure those senators have your interest at heart, period. So voting for president doesn't do anything for you. It's at the local level.
Sorry.
Hey, for real, man.
Let me say this real quick, Gary. And to Donovan's point, for you guys who say, well, we need Joe Biden to get in there and elect the Supreme Court justice. Joe Biden sat up under the Obama administration, and Obama hired or nominated, and they got confirmed 2 Supreme Court justices, a Hispanic and a white lady. Why didn't he, as the Black president, bring on a Black woman? So now you guys are buying more of the talking points of the Democrats. Oh, we need to get, because if they Trump win it, the Supreme Court is going to be stacked. Well, even still, I ask of you, what has the Supreme Court done for you as Black people in America, even though it didn't have a majority of Republican rule? What has it done for you? We're talking tangibles, people, not symbolism, because you might end up getting a female version of Clarence Thomas in that mug. Then what you gonna do?
Because he don't say nothing.
He don't like Black people.
He don't like Black people, and he don't say nothing. Nothing. So I think you go out there and you do what you want to do. But if you want the world to know, sing the song when you go to sleep tonight. Joe Biden gonna hit you with the dick. Joe Biden gonna hit you with the dick.
So we're not saying not to vote. We're saying stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe and having these two parties kick you back and forth between them when all that matters is your local elections. When was the last time you voted for the local judge that keeps incarcerating Black children and giving them 15 years for stealing an ice cream cone? That's what matters. Your city council, most of you can't even tell me the members of your city council members, mayor, governor, local, where your vote counts. That's the true democracy. When you get to the presidential level, Bush versus Gore, your vote doesn't matter. But yet you guys are sitting here arguing.
Vanessa Haynes says, I do podcasts and I know politics. I'm saying he has put 200 regular judges, so when your cousin Joe go to jail, his ass is up the creek without a fucking paddle based on the goddamn legislation that Joe Biden wrote. So it don't matter if he up the creek. He
Exactly.
drowning if you go to jail fucking with Joe Biden right now.
Exactly. The Supreme Court. Why do you guys think the Supreme Court doesn't say anything about all this bullshit that's going on? Because they're there to interpret the law that is written by the legislatures. That's all they can chime in on. They just can't go in and say, give Black people reparations. It's a law. It doesn't work that way. They can only chime in on what is written by legislators. And and Vanessa, it's I'm very sure you're knowledgeable and all that other stuff. But as a Black person, we're at the bottom of the system anyway. So those 200 judges don't mean anything to me.
So
they really don't.
I'm a rider. Her next comment, Joe didn't pass it by himself. Between me and you, F Joe and whoever else passed it. Right now, Joe is in my rearview mirror. People telling me I need to vote for him, and I'm not voting for Joe. I don't want nothing to do with Joe Biden.
One thing I was always told, and Vanessa, this is going to sound kind of mean, but I don't mean it to. When I used to go to church years ago, the pastor told Christians, if you ain't acting like a Christian, don't tell people you a Christian, right? And so what I'm telling you is, you say you know politics, don't tell people you know politics if you don't know what you're talking about. You talking about Joe Biden didn't pass it all by himself. Joe Biden ran around bragging, talking about those laws were the Biden laws. In fact, he even waved his finger at Bush Sr. and said, your tough on crime bills don't go far enough. So Joe Biden was proud of the work that he did as far as harshly and disproportionately sentencing Black people to prison over some misinformation that he got. So don't tell people you into politics and you don't know what you're talking about, because more than likely, and I'm going to say this, and again, I'm not trying to be mean, it's people like you that sit on a podcast that probably have a lot of followers, and you are misleading Black people into doing the same old things that we've been doing for over the last 60 years and not getting the goddamn thing for it. So if you really want to help Black people, tell Black people the truth and stop trying to make Black people go do more stuff for white people that have not done anything for us.
Damn. You can't say a goddamn thing. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And that's the one thing I've watched. Y'all from California, so I know you could appreciate what I'm about to say. We invented this podcast shit. Now that's the motherfucking thanks we get. We invented this shit. So here's my thing. No matter who you may be, no matter what you may do, just because you try to play intelligent and you know a few big words, don't mean that you know what the hell you're talking about. You've not researched Biden. Because if you have a conscience and a heart and you've really done the research on Biden, there's no way in hell you would vote for him. I don't give a damn if he's running against Lucifer himself. You wouldn't mess with Joe. I'm not telling you not to vote. I'm telling you who I ain't voting for. I'm not fucking with Biden. I know he a snake. And the thing about a snake is they can be a little bitty one. That bitch will still bite you. He's still a snake. And Biden ain't never changed. Ain't nothing worked for us forever. Now, since we talking about holding votes, people want to talk about what they can do for us. But I don't want to have that discussion about what you can do for me now. I want to know what you've done. And if you've done nothing, I am not at all voting for you. And contrary to popular opinion, Mitch McConnell is not on Donald Trump's side. Mitch McConnell runs the country. Trump do what O'Connell say do.
Yeah, so I mean, that's really all that I have to say. Like I said, who is it, Willie D? It says no more talk. We need to stop talking and we need to start walking. Right now, we got these young people that are out there flipping this mug over. And it's going to be people like Vanessa that try to lullaby him. Oh, we need to go now down to the polls now. We need to go on and, vote for Joe. Joe gonna make it all better for us Negroes. Nah. Don't lullaby those people. Black people need to be told the truth. And if you're not gonna do that, then be quiet. Be quiet. Or go talk to the people who listen to that and their minds can't be changed. But there are people right now who are really trying to make a difference. And you do a disservice by continuing the talking points of white supremacy. Stop doing that. Black people, we are so far behind, it is ridiculous. We have, like I said, the ball in our court, and we need to keep the momentum going. If we sit out this election season, especially on the national level, so what? We haven't gotten anything in the last 60 years anyway. Hell, 4 more years ain't gonna kill us. In fact, Farrakhan tells us, the Trump presidency is going to force Black people to finally unite and get ourselves together when they take all of these comfort zone things that we've been benefiting from under the Democrats. And if the Democrats really love Black people, they would stop dangling that carrot in front of us, and they would actually give us the damn carrot and say, this is how you go ahead and make your neighborhoods great again and build businesses and education and all of that. But they have never done that, and they're not going to do it because we don't ask them to.
Final thoughts, Donovan.
Ditto.
Let me say this here. The level of ignorance with the African-American community right now is at an all-time high when it comes to Trump and Biden. I'm going to leave you with this. I know that you're ignorant for one reason. You really ain't figured out that it ain't Trump that's tweeting. Trump don't have the common sense to put that shit together. Trump don't know a damn thing about no Juneteenth and coming to no fucking Oklahoma. Y'all ain't woke up and figured it out. The man has a team that does that. Donald Trump that dude don't give a damn about nothing but money. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. He plays the game that they want him to play. And if you are running around right now talking about justice reform, police reform, you should have a fucking problem with Al Sharpton. Because him and Trump were buddies. Jesse and Trump were buddies. Your favorite Negro politician were buddy with Trump. Don't get this shit twisted, man. You ain't getting played by Trump. You're getting played by your people. You're getting played by your people, man. But it don't matter. I get to kick it with my people this weekend anyway, man. I'm going to kick it with my people, man. And see if I can get me a Make America Great hat again. Because I'm tired of messing with y'all, man. You don't want to listen. You don't get it. And if he is, some ladies say Trump is still grabbing women by the private parts and getting away with it. Can I be honest with y'all? When I was a youngster, I was a motherfucker. I'd have grabbed you by it too.
So Joe Biden has a whole bunch of rape allegations and things like that. And y'all ain't Gary. What? Sing the song. Y'all ain't what?
Huh?
They ain't what? They ain't said a goddamn thing.
They ain't said a goddamn thing.
He ain't said a goddamn thing. You know, Biden has all these allegations. Me Too and everybody. Wow.
Vanessa Haynes, you keep hollering about you gonna leave. What, is your lever not working? Did I just step on your toes with your favorite Negro politician that then kicked it with Trump forever? Don't tell me about Al Sharpton and Donald Trump. Al Sharpton made a whole bunch of money fucking with Donald Trump. I want you to think about something. When the last time you heard him say something bad about him?
Well, he alluded to Trump during the George Floyd funerals. I don't know if I can't recall. I don't know if he did or did not call him by name, but you knew who he was talking about. He being Al Sharpton, he was talking about Trump and the going on in the White House, if you will. But you know, that's all I have to say. I know we've been on here for about 2 hours.
We lost about an hour and 15 minutes, but we're doing good. We ended up coming back strong. I just want people to vote. Follow your heart, do the research, and that should take care of it. Us three, we've done our research. We don't even have to think about it. I'm sorry, but you know, if you waiting on us to tell you to vote for vote for Biden, you came to the wrong show. Because remember, on this show, we might have some technical difficulties. But the one thing you're going to get it raw, you're going to get it real. Whether you like it or not, Democratic or Republican, you're going to get it raw and you're going to get it real. There's some Democrats out there you shouldn't vote for, and there's some Republicans you shouldn't vote for. And that's all it boils down to, man. But I'd be damned if I'm going to be forced to vote for Biden because Black America want to put pressure on me. Man, please. Sing the song. It's going platinum. I'm telling you, Joe Biden gonna hit you with the dick. Joe Biden gonna hit you with the dick.
Ditto.
I want them to understand one thing, man. Just do you, because we're gonna do us every night. Every night. We're gonna do us every night. I want you to listen real close. I got something to say about George Floyd. And I'm finna go into the lab in a few minutes. So if I kill a couple of cops on the track, don't get mad at me. If I say kill their wife and their kids, don't get mad at me. Because that's what they've been doing to us. Till tomorrow night. Smoke something. Joe Biden gon' hit you with the dick. Joe Biden gon' hit you with the dick. Joe Biden gon' hit you with the dick. Joe Biden gon' hit you with the dick.